was amazing. I mean, it was very natural because Kara, I love her. I've been saying this all day.
We've been saying it all day. We like
Kara.
really love each other so deeply, and it was right before we ever got in a callback session together, I was such a huge fan of this woman, Mallori Johnson. She thinks that's crazy.
She's a Tony winner.
But
I don't know why she keeps saying this.
Because
like
it's
she
true.
got a Tony
First of
winner.
all, I mean, all of us black girls, we saw Kindred. That was our favorite book growing up. And I can watch you, I can see you in that story forever and ever and ever. Amen. Like, that's how I feel. Straight up. So when we got together in that callback session, it was just like, I was like, oh my God.
Real. Aleshea brought us in 2 weeks early before we started shooting, and we did movement things, movement exercises. We were in the mirror. We were looking at how each other were like moving in the mirror, and we were trying to read each other's minds. But it just kind of developed like.
Yeah.
Say more.
Well, like the 2 weeks before we started shooting, it was rehearsal. We come from the theater, we rehearse. And as we started shooting, we had created such a foundation and a language for what we were doing every single day, and then it started to continue to blossom and almost work its own magic. I think started to work its powers and magic on us.
Absolutely.
And we created such a beautiful bond that cannot be broken until this day. We still have it, to be honest with you. It's kismet.
It's actually for real.
It's actually for real. I can't prescribe one thing about what you should take away or how you should feel. But I know that you will feel something, and I know that black women, black people will feel a lot of things. And what I do feel is that this is the thing that like exists within like the roots of us and in our guts. So I just know that people are just gonna do something in the ether that's never been done before, because it's never been seen before. Aleshea Harris is one of a kind. She's one of one. Cannot be replicated. This story is one of one. I saw this play in 2018. The fact that she has adapted it into a screenplay and directed it herself is something that I think that we are getting the treat of what a true vision is. And the essence of what a true vision is. I mean, from every single detail and the way that she directed us, I watched her in awe every day on set, to be very honest with you.
So my name is Mallori. I play Anaia. What drew me to this? The words, the script, like truly, I do not say this lightly. I think that Aleshea's work is incredible. I think she's a genius. When I read the script, I actually wasn't familiar with the play, but that night when I got it, my friend was familiar with it, and he was like, Mallori, do this. You have to do this. And so I read it, and I thought it jumped off the page. Aleshea's work is just it's a monstrosity. It's literally incredible. It's so big and so special. And I knew it from the first moment I read it, and I was like, I have to do this. It was a blessing. I'm still pinching myself, like even being here with Janelle and Vivica and Sterling. It's incredible. They are people I look up to, and they're people I revere. And so working with them, I just tried my best every single day on set to watch them and really, really learn from them. Because what opportunity will you have like that again, to work with these like giants, these incredible pioneers for Black people. I have so much love in my heart for literally every single person that worked on this film, but I look up to Aleshea so much. Like, really, I look up to her. She protected us on set. She made sure we were good. She made sure we were taken care of. And she knew what this was going to be. She knew what it required to tell this story, and I think that she really, she handled it with a lot of care. She handled us with a lot of care, and she was amazing.
With strength, you know, even though she's a victim of domestic violence and a domestic violence survivor, we wanted her to be surviving and thriving, to be able to make that final connection with her daughters on her dying bed, and to send them on the revenge mission that sets it all off. Believe it or not, the flashback scenes. I loved doing my flashback scenes, especially with the magical reveal of Sterling K. Brown, who plays the monster. You know, the tension that scene builds up that then sets up why she looks the way she does, why she wants revenge. So it was just wonderful for me to be the catalyst of the story. We are passing the torch to the next generation of amazing actresses with Cara Young, who is a 2-time Tony Award winning actress, my twin, Mallori Johnson. That was a responsibility of Erika Alexander and Janelle Monáe for us to pass the torch to them, you know. To Aleshea Harris, our director, who's definitely got next. You know, her eye, her vision. This is an amazing dream come true for Aleshea, for your play to go from off-Broadway to now a feature film. Aleshea was so professional. Aleshea is in my top 3 of directors that I love working with, Tarantino, F. Gary Gray, and now Aleshea Harris. She was so specific, so transparent, so giving, and I just loved working with her. It was a great experience as a director. She's got a wonderful director's eye. She's definitely got something. She got her dream cast, and for her to get this kind of a A-list cast for her feature film debut is incredible. Normally African Americans don't make these kind of films, so Sinners definitely opened the doors for us, for Is God Is, to walk through. So if you loved Sinners, you are going to love Is God Is.
We are at the premiere in New York City, baby, in Brooklyn actually, for Is God Is. Wow, a phenomenal, mind-blowing film, an original. I'm so honored to be with the auteur, the phenomenal auteur that is Aleshea Harris. Written, directed by her, and this ensemble cast. I can't wait for you to meet my character, Angie. I can't wait. This is my mother, who is a character within her own right. This was the only thing she really wanted to go to this year. She was like, she looked at my calendar and she was like, wait, the premiere to the movie is when? I better be there. So I had to bring her. I think when I read the script by the incredible, incomparable Aleshea Harris, it was everything. It was like I had been waiting on something original, something that blew my mind. It was literally one of the best scripts I've ever read in my life. And when she asked me to be a part of it, I was like, yes. And she also offered me a role where the character was a bit challenging for me, because there were just some choices that I'm like, why would she? And then after I got into, you know, doing a deep dive and helping develop her out with Aleshea, I knew that I had to honor women like Angie. I knew that I had to honor that story. If you don't understand how special and magical it is to just sit your butt in a seat and watch a movie, I don't even think I can explain anything to you. Like, who are you? Come on, it is nothing like going to the movies. I grew up, my mom used to take us to the dollar movies. This is one of those ones. You know how we went out when Sinners came out and we all were like, thank God for original movies. This is, to me, this should be that moment and beyond. Like for filmmakers, auteurs like Aleshea Harris, like let's show up and support in a theater.
We're at Brooklyn Academy of Music Rose Cinemas, and we are at the premiere of Is God Is, the new film from Aleshea Harris. And it's a pleasure to be here in Brooklyn. It's where I started most of my career at BAM Majestic, and so many plays that I've done. And so to see this playwright move into film and do so well and have this amazing cast, Janelle Monáe, Vivica A, Mallori Johnson, Cara Young, all of them, it's a great pleasure. I play a character named Divine, and Divine is stuck in purgatory a little bit. This man that she's met has sort of left her and took a little bit of her soul and the thing that makes her her. So she's created a whole cult. And so I know a little something about that. Both my parents were ministers, Pentecostal, Kojic, and so I drew from real life.
Yes, God is. Yes. Comes out May the 15th.
Well, it's a personal story. I mean, Aleshea Harris is a black woman who's talking about domestic violence, the type of safety that black women often don't have, the harm that can be done by the people you love, and making different choices. And so I think she's speaking from not experience, but from knowing who these people are. She is that person. We are versions of that person. So she wrote it. We admire each other. We know each other. I grew up when I'm the OG on the set. I've been in the longest, 43 years. And so I feel it, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be on Reggie Dinkins, doing a thing with Tina Fey. It's been a long time, and I'm glad to be here.
We are in New York City. We're in Brooklyn. I've actually never been to the Academy of Music here before, so this is cool. I'm excited. Nervous is the wrong word. I think something that I'm just really giddy about is to see my castmates shine, because I also think it's something that, I know you have to say that, oh, it's the best thing, you've never seen anything like it before, but truly I think when they see the work of Cara and Mallori and Miss Erika and Mr. Brown and Miss Monae and of course Miss Fox, I think everyone is gonna look at it more of like a beautiful ensemble team effort. That's what I'm most excited about. What I was drawn to the most was the language. Aleshea's a playwright, and I think that she was speaking to us actors very specifically with this material, and just wanting to be like a part of something. And I know that sounds cliche, but I'm talking about like once you know that the corner shot is gonna win you the championship and that's all you gotta do, that's what I was like kind of the most excited about. Me and my brother were just in a car ride over here. We were talking about the film cycle and different studio slates and stuff like that. And not to just, shame the plug, but, Amazon, I think they're risk takers, and they are committed to, where we're at in the industry as a whole. They're committed to getting us out of this hole, and we're not going to get out of that hole with formulaic, cookie cutter, type of like stories. I mean, what is going to make people come to the Brooklyn Academy of Music and pay for a ticket. And I think that kind of coalesced and balanced out with, the authenticity, originality of your story or whatever story a filmmaker or artist is telling, I think plays a pivotal role in how impactful I think this film will be this year in comparison to the landscape. Inside of the theater specifically, because it was a play first, and I think that, I think I jumped off the bandwagon of everything's on your phone. I think that everything is time and place. I love watching things on my phone. I love being at home. But I think the same way, like you can't, do certain things in your house. You know what I'm saying? I think you lose out on, I don't just want to say a communal experience, but I mean like the experience, period. Like, and I think that experience of not the money part, but get in here with your people or by yourself if it's a solo date. You know what I'm saying? It'll really speak to your spirit once you're in the theater with the lights down, etc.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to celebrate Is God Is, and man, it's such an amazing moment to be here and actually see it all come together, all the hard work. I mean, family coming together. I told people it feels like a cookout right now because on set, everybody felt like family. And I think when you have that type of chemistry, then you make a great project. So I think the world is going to be in a rude of awakening of what's great. There was just no dull characters in this film. Like, I think everything was written in intention. And I felt like everybody was searching for their power in some way. But to have these to have two female leads come through and show range, I mean, come on. Kara Young, Mallori Johnson, these two ladies really showed up and showed out, and I was actually happy to be in their presence. So, yeah, I just think that's something that made me want to be a part of this. I played college basketball, so it felt like coming to a team and you have these A-listers who are like our captains, right? And I'm coming in to play my part, I'm just playing my position, but it takes a team to make something great. And so as these captains, you watch them lead, you watch how they show up, show out, and just be present in each moment. And I learn from that. And then when it's my turn to get in the game, hey, I'm coming through and I'm hooping. This is so original. When you watch this project, I've never seen anything like it. My first time watching it, just the flames, the rage, two female leading ladies who come in and show like, hey, I'm bold and I'm powerful, and I won't let the world bully me, so I'm here. Yes, you can't watch it at home, but if you go to the theaters and see this, I watched it at Morehouse, right, with all the people in Atlanta, and I think watching it there, I got to see the crowd. Like when you watch it in the theater, you get to experience it with the crowd, and you get to hear them say, girl, oh, what you doing, bro? You get to hear that experience, and I think that kind of brings everybody together, so when we leave out of the film, we can all have something to talk about. We need more of that.
We are here at BAM, the Brooklyn Academy of Music. My name is Justen, your class president veteran, who better than, and we are celebrating the release of Is God Is. And it feels really good. Honestly, I was a fan of Aleshea before the movie. I went to theater school, and Is God Is was one of the first plays I read at school. And as a writer, I remember feeling so inspired. And so I'm excited that not only we're being celebrated as a cast and a crew, but Aleshea is being celebrated because it's been long overdue. I went to school in Chicago, and I'm a spoken word artist. So I love spoken word artists. I love poets. I love writers. And Aleshea is that. She is a master with language and words. And I think what specifically drew me to the play was how she played with typography. You know what I'm saying? You know how when you read something, it's just everything is in the same font, same size? That's not how she writes. She'll write it diagonal. I don't care, all cap, and it's like takes up the whole page. I think that is so dope. And as a visual learner, it helped me see, wow, like she helps us understand the rhythm without even like telling us anything. It's just by the way she writes it. So I'm super inspired by that, and the way that it has translated to the film, I think is impressive. I haven't seen it anywhere else. We need new stories, we need fresh stories, and this is one of them ones. Man, it's been incredible, and I think it's so dope because it was a play, bringing in actors who have had experience with theater. I mean, Kara Young is the only actress to have 2 consecutive Tonys, you know, theater royalty, the princess, you know what I'm saying, Mallori, Sterling, Vivica. You could feel that kind of theater energy on the set. So I think that like it translated really well. Everybody was so passionate, so focused, and really like lived in the moment. I think it just worked. It was lightning in a bottle. I think any opportunity to see Black stories that are off the beaten path are important. I think sometimes mainstream media only likes to push a certain narrative and a certain story, and they don't like us to think about, contemplate, or interrogate certain emotions, feelings, narratives. And I think anytime we can do that and stretch our minds, that's dope. That's why you should see Is God Is. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some people talking about it online with the name, and it's provocative. Yeah, like see what you think, you know, leave and ask yourself these questions. Ask your family these questions. I think any opportunity to interrogate, to investigate is dope. And this movie makes you do that, for sure.
I've lived with this story for about a decade, a little bit longer, and to have this many people respond to it, to basically have been given a megaphone for this story that I've lived with and loved deeply is incredible. You know, I had to think about the resources that were available in the cinema that I don't have in the theater, the things I could do with the camera, the things I could do with different locations, and really flex inside of what I had available to myself. So this was an invitation to explore the same story in a different medium. They elevated my vision by being right in the pocket of their characters, by teaching me things about these characters and these stories, and just by being humble and trusting me, which emboldened me and definitely, I think, helped make this movie exceptional. I hope that people are thinking about rage, about Black women's rage in particular, but also about the cost of that rage, what it means to hold it, the cost of someone who's wreaking vengeance on someone else. What is the cost on the person who is seeking that vengeance, right? But also sisterhood, the divinity of sisterhood, deep sibling love, mother love. There's a lot going on in this story that I hope people sit with. The experience of this in the theater will be a once in a lifetime. It was shot to be experienced on a large screen. I've seen it on a phone, I've seen it on a laptop, I've seen it on the big screen. I'm telling you, it absolutely must be experienced that way. Also, to be in a room with other people, I think will elevate the experience, and it'll just change it. So I highly recommend going to the theater.
And then she gives me ribs.
It feels incredible. First of all, BAM is a place that I saw so many films in as a kid, as a teenager. It was one of the places that I would come to and understand eventually that I wanted to be a filmmaker. So it feels very surreal to be here with the second film that my company Viva Marker has produced, the first film that I've been able to produce that I'm not in at all, which is my biggest dream, to get to really build out my producerial career and support artists, particularly Black women that I believe in. I think this film really exemplifies why I started the company in the first place, which is to present protagonists that upend and upset our ideas about what's possible, particularly for Black women. So this just feels like a really and truly a dream come true. First of all, they brought their extraordinary gifts and talent. I can't think of a more incredible cast to support Aleshea's vision. This script was so singular, you know, and what felt so exciting is with each of them to get to call them. I remember having the first conversation with Janelle and saying, Janelle, I have this script. You are our dream person for this part. I feel like it's going to blow you away. Please, please read it. I hope you love it as much as I assume that you will. And then to get the call back and be like, this is one of the best scripts, if not the best script I've ever read. And to have that across the board, you know, I think producerially, there's so many wonderful people in my world, past collaborators, people that I see across the room and think like, I want to produce for you one day. And then the challenge is to find material that's worthy of their talent. And so to get to find material that's worthy of Vivica Fox, that's worthy of a Sterling K. Brown, that's worthy of an Erika Alexander, and then also to get to really introduce audiences that might not know Kara and Mallori yet in these extraordinary performances is like, I cannot tell you what it means to me. It just is like, it means the world to me. It really is one of one in terms of what it's doing with genre. I think of what it's the fact that it's led by two young Black women, which still, I mean, we've seen film grow so much and change in terms of who we can see centered in a frame, but that is still like extraordinarily rare. A film that wants to talk about really heavy things like generational trauma, but do it in a way that also is like wildly entertaining and surprising and funny, in a way that is so unique to Aleshea's voice, is just like, it's pretty rare. It's a pretty rare film because it's made for the cinema, and also I think what we have seen recently when we talk about a film like Sinners, for example, is also just that it is so dazzling to get to go see films together in community. It just is like one of the amazing offerings of film in general is to help us understand more about our own humanity, to say like, hey, you're not alone. This feeling that you've had, this experience that you've had, you're not alone. And so why do it alone in your house? You should do it surrounded by people. It's just, I remember going to see Sinners myself the first time, not at a fancy premiere, just in a cinema, and like how fun that was. And you just get to go out and go, you know, into the lobby after and feel the energy and the buzz and overhear conversations and talk about it with your friends and fight about it with your friends. And that's a part of the joy of doing this. And so I'm really so grateful to MGM, Orion, Amazon that, you know, we're going to release this in theaters, and I really hope that audiences show up because it's the only way that we continue to say that original stories matter. Because those are always the things that perform and that we're talking about for generations, but we have to be able to show up and show out when those stories come along.
We are at the New York premiere, also the world premiere of Is God Is, which is a film that has been, I think, a decade in the making at this point, because if you really go back to it, it all started with Aleshea Harris writing the play, which had an amazing life in the theater community, and now we're here with a studio-backed film adaptation of it. Writing is my first introduction to her, and the writing of the script, I read a million scripts just in my job, and it is still one of the best scripts I've ever read. It's Murderer's Row. I mean, we were doing press today, and you see Erika, Janelle, Vivica. I mean, I'm not an actress, but all the people, I don't know how you can't not just see your childhood and people that you've like dreamed of getting to meet. But you know, Kara and Mallori, of course, are the heart of the film, and they auditioned. We looked at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tapes, and they were just luminous and stood out in a very competitive process. So I'm really excited for them. I think it's saying something really provocative and I think unsafe to say in these times, which is what it means to embrace your rage and to really look into the eye of things that have been done to you and not just brush it off because that's safer for people to accept about you. I think we like to talk a lot about self-care and self-healing, which is important, but there are wounds that can't just be buried down, and sometimes you have to look things in the eye, and you only just have to live life as boldly as you can. And I think this movie does that with some real edge, because you got to see it with your friends. This is a movie you're going to want to debate afterwards. It's not a movie I think you can process solo as well. If you drink, I think go see it, go to a bar after, or go get some food after, or take a long drive with your bestie after and talk it out. And play the soundtrack because it's really good.
It is a celebration for sure. We're here in New York City. We are at BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music, to celebrate the premiere of Is God Is, an amazing movie by Aleshea Harris that I had the esteemed privilege to work alongside Moses Sumney on the score and the songs for the movie, and we had a blast. You know, so it's going to be exciting to see it all come together today. Moses kind of invited me into it, and I'm very happy to have had that experience with him. I mean, Moses is a generational talent. You know, it's generational is the best way to put it, but it's like his voice and what he does and his musicianship is so like old yet, you know, forward-seeking as well. Like he has two sides to him that are really exciting. So to be able to work with him was really a joy. To be able to work with Aleshea was a highlight of my career. You know, so when they invited me in, it was like sign me up.
Tonight we are at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, and we're celebrating the opening night, the premiere of Aleshea Harris's directorial debut, Is God Is. It feels honestly amazing to be celebrating this. It's, every movie is a tiny miracle, and this one is no different from so many. So Aleshea Harris wrote an incredible, iconic, hugely award-winning play. She adapted it herself. We set the movie up at Orion, who's been an incredible studio to us. We shot the movie about a year and a half ago at this point, and I think Aleshea started writing her adaptation in 2020. So it's been a journey, and it's a big cause for celebration tonight. I do a lot of work in theater as well. I produce theater, and when I read Aleshea's play, I'd never read anything visually that looked the way it did on the page, and it was very clear that these characters lived in like a three-dimensional world. And so the story, they're sort of like their road journey, their rage, the momentum of it felt very natural, that it wanted to carry over into a cinematic language. So my draw to it was, I'm drawn to distinct voices, and these twins, these girls, they had a story that needed to be told. So the casting process took a really long time, took months, in fact, to find our twin sisters. Kara Young and Mallori Johnson just knocked it out of the park. And it's a murderer's row. Vivica A. Janelle Monáe, Erika Alexander, Sterling K. Brown. It's a huge, huge cast, and everybody brought something different to it, which, like, every sort of vignette moment pops in a different way. This is an all-black cast contemporary Western directed by a black woman, and just that in and of itself, even without, when I tell you what the story is about, there's not many movies that you can say, oh, this is who the story is by, this is who the story is for. And so black women are at the center of this story in every way, and I don't think we see that enough. And so it's been a real honor, it's been a real joy, it's been a real journey to make the movie together. Audiences should experience Is God Is in a theater because they will be laughing, they will be screaming, they will be shocked, and it's the kind of movie that you want to experience other people having an emotional reaction to.